Why are you so damn afraid to be who you are? I mean, think about it. This life, it comes around once. This is your one chance in this life. You know what I'm talking about. You've been there and you're thinking you've got this threshold, this potential in you. And it's like it sleeps inside you. And I'm not talking about goals and I'm not talking about what you have to become. I'm talking about who you are. Talking about that thing inside you that you feel, the thing in you that wants to express itself. You get people out there trolling other people and the rest of it. Well, go ahead. If that's the purpose of your life, to knock other people, so damn what. I'm talking about you, the creative being, the person who is there. You know what I'm talking about. You know who you are. You got that thing. You got that spark, that feeling of life, that feeling of potential, that thing that's unignited in you, but unignited on the outside, but inside you, it's ignited. So the question is, why are you putting a bushel over it? Why do you keep it trapped inside? I'm imploring you, because this is something I've gone through my whole life. It's just holding back. No, I could never be who I am exactly as I wish to be. Because the world will section me, the world will laugh at me, the world will troll me. At what point are you going to draw a line in the sand and say, from this day, I will be who I am with full pride? And I'm not talking about ego. I'm talking about that act of becoming. Are you ready to become that which you could be potentially? Because that is an exciting journey. That is the adventure of your life. And yes, in some ways, it's also about going out into the world. But most of all, it's about your attitude to the world. They always dress up the hero's journey as this cycle where you go out. And I get it. It's a beautiful construct, but it's also an internal metaphor. It's an attitude of mind. Are you looking after yourself? Are you raising yourself up? We get trapped. And at a certain point, when we become mature adult beings, because actually the world's full of, adults who are, I see the thing, they're children. Most of us are children. Come on, let's be honest. The world would not be so destroyed if any of these adults were actually adults. So what about you? What is your potential in this world? What are you doing with it? Are you ready to express it? Are you ready to take in that breath and say, right, I shall be that which I potentially could be, and not as something that is going to be measured by the outside through your goals or what you're showing the world in terms of who you are now. In terms of I'm going to express myself exactly as I feel like I should say it. And this is the thing, going back to the idea of, you get to a certain age and you go out into the world, 21, 22, 23, 24, whatever, and it's like we're a defined being. People are like, yeah, I know what I think politically. I know what I think spiritually. I know who I am. And then the sort of 20s comes along and, you're projecting out this version of yourself that you feel like you should be, while inside you feel totally insecure and you don't actually know how to do this damn adult life. And it's weird as hell because all the adults you do meet, they're all pretending that they're adults as well. So you just end up living in this world of absolute pretense. And then you struggle to find any guidance. And the point is that you got to find that guidance in you by having the courage to find what it is that you think about, what you feel. And I know it can be confusing, but you got to go on that journey. You got to test yourself, test your viewpoint. It's not about viewpoint. It's beyond viewpoint. I don't know. This has nothing to do with politics. This is about the potential expression of how one is in the world. This is a wonderful, wholesome potential. And I tell you, it's like at that point where you say, I'm not going to live in my own chains anymore. I'm not going to bind myself to some absurdity about what this person might think of me, or about what that person might think of me, or try conform my viewpoint because I think it's going to fit in a bit better. No, I'm going to be who I am. And it's like, if you're going to do that with love and with kindness and with putting something good in the world, well, if they're going to judge you, let them damn well judge you. Who the hell are you potentially? That's the exciting thing. That's the thing that you can dig into. That's the thing that you can own. And the thing is, it's a long journey to get there. I mean, I kind of feel like at this point in my life, it's like, man, at last, At last, I'm letting something go. You carry certain burdens with you and certain questioning, and that is a rite of passage. That is part of it. Walking across those coals is a part of the journey, but it's also an attitude in your own mind. It's like there's this potential that is, I think, within all of us. I remember like many years ago when I went into therapy, and I was a young man. I was like early 20s, and I was so broken up. I was so damaged. It was an awful time. I was living in a profound panic, a decade of anxiety, and it's just like going out of the house was the hardest thing. And I look back at that point, and I went in, and I at some point it got so bad. I was like, well, I don't know how to go on. I don't know if I can go on. I know many people know this point, and too many people, and I send love and heart and hope to any of you out there, because there is something that you can move towards. That there is a potential health that is available to you. And I always remember the therapist, wonderful man, moustache and these horn-rimmed glasses, and he leaned in, he looked at me, and he said, I don't think you're nuts. I think you've just been through a lot of stuff. It just stopped me in my tracks. I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're mad. I don't think you belong in the nut house. I think you've just been through a hell of a lot of stuff, and it's working through you. And the deeper I went into therapy, we started exploring this idea of the potential true self. And it's this sort of idea that I sort of relate to the Zen Buddhist, and there's a sort of quotation I often talk about, and it's that there is a face that you had before you were born. There is a face that you had before you were born. And that's such a wonderful idea, because the world can misuse us, and your upbringing kind of can distort us, and we can be trying to fit into the world. And the thing is that, you build up these defense mechanisms, and you build up these masks, these disguises. I mean, in some ways, thank God for those masks, because they help you through those periods where you're so broken. But at some stage, you can't live with them. At some stage, it's like, are you going to use those forever to mask what's really going on inside you? Because inside you is that face before you were born, that potential, that inner truth, that evocation of being that is utterly yours. And yes, it connects to the universe and whatever you think spiritually, but there is that deeper part of your being, that potential true self. And it's the journey of a lifetime, not to go outwards, but to go into it. To go into that basement of your being, not as a potential hell, like the lonely old Steppenwolf in Hermann Hesse's book. Steppenwolf calls it, he talks about treading the inner hell of his being. It's like, well, no, there's another place beyond that hell, deep beneath the river of life, and you can crack down through that basement and something that's like so further and deeper and beyond your experience of yourself. What I learned, like through my journey, was that the panic that I was feeling, that anxiety, I thought it would destroy me, but I had this revelation that the anxiety wasn't there to overcome me. It wasn't there to destroy me. It was playing a role. The anxiety was cracking off the false selves. It was cracking off the ways that I'd used to survive in the world. The anxiety was a manifestation of health. It blew my mind when I realized that it wasn't trying to destroy me. It was trying to help me. It was breaking down these parts of my being that were not of me. They were not of that truest self. So when it comes to you, when it comes to your life, wherever you're at, No matter where you're at, if you're in a dark space, if you're feeling psychologically unhealthy, or if you're just feeling boxed up and you don't know how to be yourself because you're worried about what your co-workers or your family or society or your friends or all the different ways that the world puts all these labels and boxes and chains upon us, why not say, today is the day that I will start to be who I damn well am? This is the day that I make my stand. This is the day that I'm going to choose the life that is available within every single human being. That potential, that wonderful sense of being that the Zen Buddhists talk about, that the psychotherapists talk about, that the Taoists talk about. It's within you. It's potential within you. And, it's like, come on. This is your life. This is your potential. There's so much waiting for you. And it's within you, and I send you love wherever you're at. Let me know how you're doing. Drop a comment. Does any of this resonate with you? Are you ready to make some type of change? Is there one thing that's blocking you in between? Let's just start a conversation, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful evening. Good night, everyone.